Hello and welcome to another video. This is a tutorial on my clock method that I made. So I've attempted this 3 different times. First with a method I called oneMemo, and then I tried tries 7simul, which didn't end up working out. I tried to create another one. I didn't end up coming up with a name for it because it didn't work, but I found one. I came up with the name before the actual method. It's called Dragonfly. So Dragonfly is similar to 7simul, where you have 5 pieces of memo, except this is mostly intuitive, and most of the memo is just on the back side. So you only have to flip over to the front side once during memo, and that makes it really efficient, as well as the fact that all of the memo, except for one piece, is 2 pieces that you have to look at. So it's 2 pieces per memo, except one. So really, this is going to be really fast. So I'm going to start by showing you the pin order, because the pin order is kind of unusual. So the pin order is R, UR, little UL, so this is down, L, that's the weirdest move, DL, DR, and /. And the intuitive moves is the right side of this. This move is intuitive. This move is full memo. This move is intuitive, and this is memoed. This is fully intuitive. This is intuitive, and this is memoed. I actually want to do this one first. I'll explain why when I start teaching the method. And then this is completely intuitive. So I've practiced with this method a little bit, and my best solve was a 14.07. This is the scramble for that solve, and that's kind of the reason I started making this tutorial, because I finally got a sub 15. I have a few of them, but this is the best solve that I got, and I think it's a really good example solve. So now that I showed you the pin order, let me sort of show you how the memo works. So the first bit of memo is on the back side. Every piece of memo is on the back side except the third. So from now on, rather than saying memo, because that's a little bit too much to say, I'm going to say M, and then the number of memo. So in this case, this is M1. This is seen in other tutorials. So M1 is what R has to do to get to U. The reason why you're doing R to U is because if you did U to R, which is what the actual move is, it'd be wrong because it's on the back. So you want to do R to U to get the inverse. So in this case, it's -2. For me, I use Korean numbers as the negative numbers, so -2 would be E. But I'll just say the numbers for you because not everyone uses the same memo method that I use. So -2 is the first number. M1 is -2. This is very important to remember for M3. Of course for solving it as well, but M3 uses M1, which is why M1 is very important to get correct, otherwise you mess up 2 pieces. The second piece of memo is U to C. What U has to do to C. It's the same deal. If the move actually solves C to U, but it has to be the inverse because it's on the back. So U to C is 4. So we have -2 and 4. The next piece of memo is the long bit, and it's the only one that interacts with the front side. The reason why it interacts with the front side is because you add M1 to this, and then whatever this has to do to get to this, you inverse and add to this. It sounds like a lot, but I'll take it slow. So M1 was -2. So you subtract 2 from this, which brings you to 0. So at 0, you move it to where this is, which is 1, meaning it's 1 tick away, and then you inverse it. So because it's +1, you're going to do -1, meaning we're going to subtract 1 from where this is to get to this spot. This specific spot is going to be flipped, so it's going to be on the bottom side, and this is the most difficult part of actually memoing M3. But for me, I have gotten really consistent at this. Because it's 2, it's going to end up being 4 because it's on the right side. So 4 is 2. So this is 4. Our third piece of memo is 4. So M1 is -2, M3 is 4, and M2 is also 4. I meant to say M2 is 4, but you know, you get it. So -2, 4, 4. The fourth piece of memo is L to D. In this case it's 5. So we have -2, 4, 4, and 5. M3 is going to be weird compared to the other moves, but I'll explain that during the execution step. So -2, 4, 4, 5. And the last piece of memo is D to C. And again, like I said, each one is only 2 pieces except M3, so this is 6. So our total memo is -2, 4, 4, 5, 6. So -2, 4, 4, 5, 6 is our full memo. And now let's talk about the actual moves. So the actual moves you're going to be doing is with your right hand on R, you're going to be doing your intuitive move, and with your left hand, you're going to be doing your first piece of memo. So -2, and then the intuitive move is to solve these together. Next up, you're going to do UR, and this is completely intuitive. You just make a little block in the bottom left. Next up is little UL, which means this pin is down, and it's your next piece of memo, which is 4 and 4. But M3 is weird, and I'll explain that after I do M2. So M2 is 4, so we do 1, 2, 3, 4. And M3 is weird because rather than doing 4 moves with your right hand, you're going to be solving this corner to 4. It will take some getting used to, but this move is both memorized and intuitive. You memorize where it needs to go, not what it needs to do. So you find where 4 is compared to it, so you solve it to 4. And that is M3, which is why M3 is weird. But this gives this little bit of error in memo, sort of makes it so your memo is mostly on the backside. So memo is faster overall, but that move can be really slow without practice. The next move from here is L, which is intuitive with your left hand, which is to solve these together. And then with your right hand, you're going to be doing M4, and M4, I forget, was 5. So, 5. Then you're going to be doing intuitive moves, which is to solve the block up here. And lastly, you're going to be doing this for memoed moves, and your last move is your M5, and then you're going to be solving this to that, which is why you're going to want to do the mini R move first. In this case, it's 6, so we do 6, and we know it's going to go to -5, so we can move this to -5 while we do 6. These should be the same when you're done, and this should be the same when you're done. So now you do / and solve all of them to 12. And when you're done, it should be completely solved. So again, our memo was -2, 4, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to do it slightly faster. So intuitive, -2, which is M1. Then intuitive, 4, solve to 4, which is M2 and 3. Then we do intuitive, fourth piece of memo, which is 5, intuitive, and last piece of memo, which is 6, as well as our intuitive move to solve this to this. And then finally, intuitive is solved to 12. And quickly without explanation, it looks like this. And that is Dragonfly.